Cruise Lines are rushing now to make some changes after the Trump administration unveiled its new restrictions on travel to Cuba.
Yeah, and some political experts see this move as part of the president's strategy for re-election in 2020. Local 10's Hatzel Vela is live in Miami to explain this. Hatzel.
Louis, we're talking about a lot of folks affected. According to the International Cruise Line Association, nearly 800,000 bookings will be affected. Let's go ahead and show you some new video coming into our newsroom, Local 10 there, as one of the last cruise ships was leaving Havana, a Norwegian ship, early this morning. It's set to be one of the last because we understand another cruise ship will be leaving this afternoon, but all of this happening because of the new regulations. These are the kinds of notices cruise line companies are sending passengers scheduled to go to Cuba in the coming days. Royal Caribbean says they're adjusting their June 5th and 6th sailings, which will no longer stop in Cuba.
There's a misalignment between what was done to the cruise lines and what is allowed for everybody else.
Pedro Freire works for Ackerman, a law firm which represents several companies with interests in Cuba. He says cruise lines can still request a specific license to complete the voyages already booked.
Is this political?
Of course it's political.
It was here in South Florida back in April when National Security Advisor John Bolton announced these travel measures were coming. The Trump administration has made it no secret this is a way to get Cuba to back off from Venezuela.
And do you think that'll work?
No.
But Freire says Cuba can play a key role in solving the Venezuela problem. Other critics say the new regulations favor Cuban Americans who mainly use airlines to travel to Cuba and of course remain a large voting bloc, which could help the president in the upcoming 2020 elections. Freire says the Cuban government also takes some blame for not taking the economic opportunities during the Obama administration and for not fixing many of their internal problems.
They have severe problems and they need to get with the program.
The Cuban government continues to simply denounce the new measures. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel says the U.S. government keeps at its perverse efforts to crush Cuba. New measures intensify the blockade and violate international law. We strongly condemn this policy. Bottom line is that if you still want to travel to Cuba, you can do so under the 12 authorized categories, but you have to do so by plane. For now, reporting live in Miami, I'm Hatzel Vela, Local 10 News.